at least there's two of us.
I'm going to shut my microphone off.
And now you can mute thyself. Thank you. And we are ready to go in 3, 2, 1.
Hello? Are you ready? Yes. Then we'll begin.
Well, at least I'm not alone this week, and I'm going to try to stay out of trouble. We'll see what happens. This is Monday Morning Catholic, episode 115.
6:30 Monday morning. I'm here hiding in my bed. A song plays on my alarm clock as I cover up my head. Somewhere in the distance, I remember yesterday singing.
And somewhere in the distance, I remember what a good night's sleep is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Morning Catholic Podcast. I am your host and moderator, Joanne Mercier, and can finally say pastoral associate for the Cranberry Catholic Collaborative in Lakeville, Middleborough, and Rochester, Massachusetts. That's a mouthful. But I am not alone. Thank you, Jesus. This way I don't get into trouble. She's back from her wheezing and coughing tour of the last week and a half with allergies. Linda Reed from St. Thomas in Providence, Rhode Island. Good morning, Linda. How you doing?
Good morning. I am better, not well.
Okay.
There's still a lingering cough that is, but it's much less than it was, and the steroids are working their magic.
Oh, well, that's we're very happy to hear that.
I think I can get through a podcast without hacking up a lung.
Oh, praise Jesus. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, good. So now we know how you've been.
Yeah, not well.
No. And we're still, this, what we go through here at Monday Morning Catholic really confirms the fact that we have to change our format.
Yes.
Because we've got graduations, baptisms, family functions, and Linda and I have no life. So that's why we're here all the time. Now, next week is Mother's Day.
Yes.
Okay.
I begged off for Mother's Day.
Yeah, exactly. So you just might get me again. Which I really don't want to inflict on the public after last week's little debacle. But I think here's what happened. Okay. So that you all know that, especially somebody who has promoted copyright adherence in the Catholic Church for so many years, got caught up in a little copyright snafu of her own last week. It was the fact that normally I have in front of me on my iPad a program called Soundbite. And what it is it's a board. It's a clipboard, okay? And it puts all kinds of musical clips on there. And I do understand that there is, within copyright law, a fair usage policy. People, it's a two-edged sword in copyright. Yes, people want their property protected, but they also want it to be heard. So it's kind of like you walk a very fine line. And what happened last week was, instead of making a clip of Let's Go Crazy, the front end of it, and everybody had been using it and quoting it for 5 days prior. Okay. Instead of making that and sticking it on Soundbite, I'm figuring I'm probably never going to use that again. So let me just run it off of my iTunes. It ran a little longer than I think fair usage is correct. And there are other things you can do so that it, I don't want to give away the trade secrets.
Yeah.
There's other things that you do in order to be able to use them. And it just, I didn't think of it. I was doing this by myself. I needed to get going. I played it And anybody who watched live, and there were a couple of people who did, Bernadette from Lakeville was one of them. She said, at least I got to see the whole thing. And she was right, because she watched it live. When I went to render everything, it got a big, your audio has been muted.
No.
Not just the 2 minutes that it was playing. I didn't play it for 2 minutes, but not like the 2 minutes that it would have been, or minute and a half that it would have been in there. They muted the entire video. So then YouTube says to you, okay, we can take this out for you. And I'm saying to myself, okay, you do it, because I don't have any time. So I clicked the button, and it was taking so long. And I'm saying to myself, what are they doing? So I said, forget it. I'll just deleting the video forever. Didn't even keep a copy of it. I just said, I'm going to delete the video forever. And that's the end of it. So you only got the audio version last week, because I was able to scrub enough of that. I left the beginning of it and then scrubbed the rest of it. And that was fine. I didn't get any kind of lashback from iTunes. And I don't usually, because I really try to keep within the parameters of what is considered fair usage. It's only fair. People make their money off of these things.
Sure.
And I'm very respectful of that. But again, it's a two-edged sword, because a lot of my references are pop culture-ish. So if I can't use pop culture stuff, what good is it? Now, my friends, the couple formerly known as the Catholics Next Door, Greg and Jennifer Willits, who now have Adventures in Imperfect Living, talk about two mouthfuls of what the title of our podcast is. They actually sang Purple Rain.
Wow.
But they altered the melody.
Oh.
So that they could sing it in honor of Prince. Okay. So, I mean, what do you do with this? You can play some stuff that sort of sounds like the pop reference or pop culture reference you're trying to use, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make money off. Number one, we don't make money off of anything in this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would think, hey, look, we're getting your boy out there, and he's going to sell like 25 more million copies of whatever on iTunes, because not only did he die, but other people are quoting it. So giving me a break.
Really?
Still, I took it down and I said, fine.
Yeah.
Hey. What can you do?
What can you do? Is right.
That is one thing I will not. I keep within the parameters, and I plan on continuing to use pop culture references, because people just know them. And again, music is such the soundtrack of our lives.
Really?
We had a discussion last night. We had confirmation this weekend. That's another story. But we had a discussion on the soundtrack, what I consider the soundtrack of our lives. When you hear a song, or it come on the radio, or comes up on your playlist or whatever, it immediately takes you back to the first time you ever heard it, most of the time. Okay. And if it's a pleasant memory, you're cool with it. If it's a not so pleasant memory, you change it. Or you start telling stories about it. This is the power of music. Okay. And you and I, Linda, know this because we're musicians.
Sure.
But everybody has a soundtrack. And as I was saying last week, Prince was a part of the soundtrack.
Yes.
Of my life. Maybe not his more controversial and quirky little pieces, but when I don't know about you, but I judge music on if it has a good hook. Now, this is not church music. Okay. If it has a good hook, if it's singable.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if it's danceable.
If it's got a good beat and you can dance to it.
You got it. Maybe that's the old American Bandstand.
Yeah, right.
Reality.
It's got a good beat.
I'll give it a 76. It's got a good beat and I can dance to it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. So mea culpa.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Linda was laughing hysterically when she.
Well, yeah. I went and listened to the podcast.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Well, I just thought, I would see how you did on your own.
Oh, thank you.
knowing that you could do fine, perfectly.
Yeah,
But one thing that struck me was how funny that opening is.
isn't it?
It's just hysterical. I hear it all the time as we're getting ready to do the thing, but then you hear it as you're getting ready to listen to a program, and it's like, it's funny. But
Yeah.
anyway,
And in an effort for full disclosure,
Yeah.
that opening comes from the original cast recording of the Broadway musical Spam-A-Lot. Okay, just so you all know
yeah,
where it comes from. It's classic Monty Python.
yes, and we love Monty Python.
We love us some Monty Python. So, and see
You know,
that
it
again.
reminds me of my son,
Oh, okay.
because my son was and still is a rabid Monty Python fan.
Is he really?
Oh my gosh,
Oh
yes. And I had two. I try, you try to play things down sometimes, but then I had two priest friends who egged him on
No.
because they liked Monty Python too. So
Oh,
so-
between the lumberjack song and
yeah,
a few
And
other
many of
things.
the sketches. My son is a excellent mimic, and he would reproduce those sketches, have me in stitches. But anyway,
Is Penguin on the telly?
yeah, it's the penguin and the parrot, the dead parrot,
And no one expects the Spanish
and
Inquisition.
the Spanish Inquisition. Yes, ooh,
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
we went through the whole thing, the whole ball of wax.
And see, that was when Monty Python was big when I was younger,
Yeah,
but I still watched it. And then Kevin could never understand when he met me, and I was still loved Monty Python. You're kidding me. I don't understand English humor.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, I do.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
terribly funny.
But the thing is, nothing was sacred to Monty Python.
No. And that,
Nothing was sacred.
the best comedic minds are like that. Nothing
Yeah.
sacred. And they know how to walk the line between
Yeah.
comedy and ridiculousness.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of comics today don't know how to do that.
No.
They get they use some of this stuff, especially the political humor.
And they get they cross the
downright
line.
It gets nasty.
Yeah, they cross the line from comedy into nasty. Yeah.
Or tragedy.
Yeah, that too.
That too. But anyway, so enough of the waxing of Monty Python and Prince and all that kind of
It's our pop culture references for the
Oh,
morning.
jeez. We will still have pop culture references at Monday Morning Catholic, no matter what format we go to, because I can't live without them.
Yeah.
But we do want to take a look back at the previous weekend's liturgy and try to make some sense of it all. We were in the 6th Sunday of Easter, believe it or not. But for me, it was confirmation weekend. So
For me, it was Peace Weekend.
it was peace weekend for her. So Linda's got the peace homilies, and I have the confirmation
Oops.
cap homily. Because if you were with Monday Morning Catholic last year and you heard me talk about it, it was almost the same homily. Although it had some Yeats in it this year. So that's, I figured Linda would appreciate that for
Yes.
being the English major that she
I
is.
always like when they quote literature.
Yes, he was he did quote it, but don't ask me what he, believe you have to understand. I was way too involved being the liturgist.
Of course. When you're in charge of that sort of thing.
The liturgist hat was on and
Yeah.
on tight.
Yeah.
So it was more a matter of watching the kids, making sure the kids on the altar were doing the right thing, making sure everybody was in the right places, making sure that everybody, it's just too many details.
Yep.
So I cannot remember what he quoted exactly.
Yeah.
So if it comes to me in the middle of,
It's middle of something. Yeah.
I'll let you know. We had no feedback last week. So surprised that nobody decided. Yeah, I figured somebody would, at least other than you, would decide to, sort of tweak me on the fact that I ran into
Well,
problems. But what can I tell you? So we are going to go straight into what you come here for every week, we think.
Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear for the 6th Sunday of Easter? Can you believe it's almost over?
I can't.
And this past
I was just saying the other day to somebody, I can't believe another choir year is coming to an end.
Wow.
It seems like we just started.
Yeah,
You know,
give them the summer off.
I give my guys the summer off because you know what? They work hard all year.
Mhm.
And some people think that's not the right thing to do. But you need a break so you can come back with a little bit of enthusiasm for the ministry.
True.
You know?
I used to try to keep them through June, though, even if that was ordinary time, just for the sake.
I keep them through June. I mean, I keep them through May up to June.
Right.
Even though Pentecost is in the middle of May this year, Pentecost used to be a benchmark.
Right.
I'm holding on to them until through Trinity and Corpus Christi, and that'll take us to June. And
Who knows? I might be actually able to play one of those
Oh, hey,
or two of those.
yay!
No, one. Actually, I think the only one I could actually play next week.
Oh, good.
But I can't come to rehearsal.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
I am such a good musician that I will not play unless I come to rehearsal.
Yeah, I know it is. It's and you're really both the director and the musician are taking a chance.
Yeah,
You know.
we do. We
I
do.
mean-
So you might get me for Corpus Christi.
I was going to say this, you know, with somebody that I know, somebody like you,
Mhm.
who you know would come in and would know what they were doing, and if for some reason they didn't know something, they would stop.
Of course.
You know. But you can't depend on everybody to do that.
That is correct. That is correct. So this was a peaceful weekend.
Yes, it was.
And
love peace.
this past weekend was the Orthodox Easter. Now, see,
Matter of fact, it was such a peaceful weekend that I got a text after Mass
Mhm.
saying that my other accompanist, who has the 2.5-year-old,
Yes.
said that we did a piece, second communion piece called "Peace I Leave with You,"
Mhm.
and they said during that song their 2.5-year-old fell asleep, so they were thinking of hiring the choir to come every afternoon and sing her to sleep.
Turn on your phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Record it. And then she can hear it every
Every afternoon, yes.
There you
So
go.
it was a very peaceful weekend,
Yes.
even though our Orthodox brethren were celebrating their Easter.
Yes, Christos and Estes to all of you.
Yay!
Yeah, they're just starting.
Yeah,
They have much Paschal joy to be overcome.
be overcome by. Yeah,
We cannot hear that line anymore
I
without.
know. And then after this week, it'll be overcome by the joy of the resurrection and the ascension. They
Oh,
add
yeah.
another overcome to it.
But this was the last overcome with Paschal joy.
Yeah,
Ah, geez, it went out with a bang then. We like that. Thank you very much.
I find that phrase
Yeah, you and I
amusing.
cannot look at me when
I know,
when
and I
you-
actually did by accident today.
I know, because I start to laugh. And then Bernadette from Lakeville told me, oh, yes, and now I'm overcome
Yeah.
with Paschal joy. I can never listen to it the same way twice.
No,
So it's like,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
overcome with Paschal joy.
I know. Oh. Yeah, let's forget that. Anyway,
Moving right along.
so the peaceful readings for this weekend.
Yes.
All of a sudden, my camera has gone warm for some reason. So if I look a little jaundiced, it's my camera went warm. I have no idea why, and I have no time to fix it. So sorry about that. But we were again in Acts, and this time, we're dealing with the question. You don't hear it in the passage that we hear.
Yeah.
But if you had read before that, you'd be finding out the question is to circumcise or not to circumcise.
Not to circumcise, yes.
Right.
And I imagine a lot of people were really relieved
That
when
they
the
didn't
Holy
have
Spirit said,
the Holy Spirit and the Council
yes,
of Jerusalem, because the Council of Jerusalem is
that
the
they
first council.
didn't have to be circumcised.
Yes, the very first council in the Roman Catholic Church is the Council of Jerusalem
Yes.
in Acts 15.
And that was the problem.
And that was it.
Yes.
Because, these Gentiles are not circumcised.
Nope.
So they need to be circumcised in order to be followers of
Ooh.
Jesus. Yeah, like, sure.
Oh.
And guys all over were like,
Ah.
and then the Holy Spirit said, nope,
Nope.
it
That's it.
doesn't.
Just stay
know,
away from blood, people.
Just stay away from unlawful marriage, stay away from the blood of strangled animals. That's all you need to do.
And other people said amen.
So they were very happy.
They were all very relieved, I'm sure.
But this is how the councils of the church came to be, where the elders got together and had to start making decisions. So that's the very first one, and it's recorded. So that now you know why we have them.
Yep.
Synods and councils, and because it's not just the men getting in a room together, it's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's all we'll say about that.
Yeah.
Psalm 67 was the proper psalm for the weekend. Oh God, let all the nations praise you. Was that another Michael Johnkus you did this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the unpublished ones. It's yet to be published.
Will any of these will they be published soon?
Well, there's 2 volumes that are already published. One is the volume of Common Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
And this last one that just came out is the Advent Christmas season.
Okay.
Psalms for the Advent Christmas season. I believe the next one that's coming out is the Lent Easter.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, yes, it was. And that particular psalm and the setting of it is one of my favorites of that genre of his.
Okay.
I like that particular one. It doesn't make the cantor jump through too many hoops.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like that.
But I just particularly like that one. I don't know why. Some things appeal to you, but it went fine, and I was very grateful.
Good. We did one by Richard Prue. And one of the older ones by Richard Prue, which I hadn't heard in a while. And the good thing is our confirmation in Lakeville is at a 4:00 Saturday night vigil mass. So we don't use the confirmation ritual.
We use the regular
Use
readings of the day.
regular
Yeah.
Sunday ritual, which to me at this time of the year really works.
Yeah, it does.
Look at what the readings were.
Right.
This was like, we're coming in on confirmation, you're coming in on the Holy Spirit. So
Yep.
this works for me. Middleborough, however, they do this is the fun part. They on Friday at either 4:30 in the afternoon or 7:30 at night.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it's a full-blown red confirmation reading type of ritual.
Wow.
So, they have about 70 kids between Middleborough and Rochester. Because
Wow.
Rochester pairs up with them. So, and
It's going to be tough on the musicians.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes the choir is not the same people.
Oh.
So if they can come to both, they can. If they can only come to one, they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a mixed bag for them. But then they go grab a quick sandwich and do the next one.
Come back and do the next one. Yeah.
I feel bad for the bishop who has to take a quick sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like
Jeez.
Revelation 21, the Holy City.
The Holy City.
We got up to the Holy City, Jerusalem, which was nice.
There's a folk song called 12 Gates to the City that I always want to sing when I hear this reading.
Okay. Not exactly a ritual piece.
Not exactly a ritual piece, but the piece starts out with 3 gates to the west, 3 gates to the east.
Oh, geez.
And it just goes on. Oh, what a beautiful city.
Okay.
But anyway. That always brings that to mind when I
know. See the soundtrack of your life.
Yeah, you hear the soundtrack of my life.
Back to that again.
Knows that I love my music.
It just comes unbidden. I don't even ask, and it just comes into my head.
just shows up. And then we're still in John
Yes,
14th chapter,
we're discoursing.
right, where we start talking about the advocate who will
Yes,
teach you everything, which is why I thought these were spectacular readings for confirmation.
sure.
Yeah, this works. Next year, mine is a little, I think it's either the 5th or 6th Sunday again next year.
Oh, good.
We already have our dates. Boston is real quick.
Wow,
You have to put them in January. You get them by May.
wow.
So of the next year for 7. So for 2
Yeah, the following year. Yeah, wow.
years is already May 13th. So it's like, wow,
Yeah.
I'll take it. Because now I know and I can tell
Now
parents.
you know, you can plan. Yeah.
There it is. All right. So, like I said, mine was a confirmation homily, and of course, you may have heard this part of this last year because he always likes to come down and kind of go up to the kids and say, I'd love to ask. When the bishop used to come down here for confirmation, the kids were nervous because they figured I'd ask questions. He said, but I don't think I'll ask you any. He said, but I think I might ask the sponsors. Wow.
Whoa.
It was like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this, man.
Right. But he, and as you might suspect, as a regional bishop, has to have a set homily that he uses when
Sure.
our confirmations were his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of the weekend.
Oh, my
He
Lord.
had 6.
Oh.
I don't know where he was earlier on. No, ours would have been his 1st, 2nd, and 4th.
Jeez.
Okay, because he started with us on Friday.
Yeah.
Somewhere Saturday before he came to us at the 4:00.
Wow.
And Sunday he was, I believe he was going to be in Bristol at 1, and not Bristol, Plymouth at 1, and then 5:00 in Dedham.
Jeez.
Yeah. Bishop Dewar, you are one.
And then he's going to be Dedham.
Yeah, he's gonna be got him after that 6th one. I'll tell you, he was tired last night, and he's up there in age, so
Sure.
you kind of feel for them when they're like confirmation machines right now, going around and doing this. But he is very personable. Again, if you may have heard me talk about this last year. He's the type of bishop that will come downstairs a half an hour before and talk to them. And then gives them all a bookmark with his email address and his phone number,
Wow.
saying that if he can ever be of service to them, please, and I know of no other bishop,
No.
my friend the Bish included, unless he is doing this now, but that does that.
Yeah.
I mean, I give him a lot of credit for that. I don't know how many kids take him up on it, but even if one does,
Yeah.
for some reason, it's worth it.
Sure.
So he went on and quoted Yeats and, the whole 9 yards, but he did talk a little bit about the readings, which was great. He
That's
did
good.
kind of sandwich it in because they were perfect.
Yeah.
But again, they have their pattern.
Yeah. I've done enough confirmations to know. For a while, we had like 5 bishops doing confirmations, and I knew every one of their confirmation homilies.
Yep, they get one going. Because like last year, he didn't quote Yeats. This year, he did. So it's one of those things where they have a pattern.
Yeah.
They change it up every year.
Find something along the way to add to it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my basic. So what I heard on Sunday morning was the first homily.
Yeah.
But you have 2 of them because I did not know that.
Well, I do, and I'm going to have to piece together the first one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but this is a retired priest who has a lovely Irish brogue, and he subs at our parish on the rare occasions that our pastor is not there. And so he came in and had a homily about, of all things, peace. Because the direct quote out of the gospel was, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, not peace that this world gives, but a peace that I will give you." And so he started out saying, first of all, how can we believe Jesus gave us peace when we look at the world around us and see the mess of non-peace that this world is. Who has peace? Syria, the Middle East, you know, the division of the Czech Republic, Russia, any number of conflicts throughout the world, in our own country, in our own church. There is no what you would call evident peace. And he said, so what can we, and he waxed on that a little while. And then he said, so what can we do to bring the peace of Christ into the world? Because he said, Christ is not here in the flesh anymore. How do we make the peace that Jesus promised us? How do we make that evident in the world? And then he just went on and on with examples. I wished I had a pen. You know, he went on and on with examples. You know, have you had anything to do with mending a rift in your family? Have you had anything to do with mending a rift in your neighborhood? Have you had anything to do with bringing peace to someone's soul who has been troubled? And he went on and on for about 12. Have you had a hand in this? Have you done this? Have you, you know, and everybody was just like, wow, we're expecting Jesus to do it. I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I just thought it was excellent. I really did. He really did a nice job with that. And then we did the prayer of the faithful and followed it up with peace I leave with you, my friends. And it was like, oh yeah. So that worked. Now our pastor took a whole different tack on it. He took, actually turned out it was the gospel verse, the verse for the gospel acclamation. If you love me, you will keep my word, and my Father will come to you, and I will come to you, and we will make our dwelling with you.
Right.
And so our pastor took that verse and flew with it and said, on Wednesday night, my mother called to say she had moved into her new apartment. She said that I would be disappointed as her deck, and it wasn't really a deck, it was a little patio, was not overlooking the bay like the house where she used to live. And he went on to describe the lovely house that his mother lived in, and his stepfather, his mother and his stepfather, because he lost his father very early on. His mother and his stepfather lived in a beautiful house on the water with a deck. And so his stepfather has passed, and his mother is getting up there and can't take care of that whole big house. So she's moved into a small apartment. So I told her maybe we can, he said, it's not overlooking the bay, but instead it looks at a wall. So I said, maybe we can paint sailboats on the wall and pretend.
Yeah, I thought that was a good line.
Yeah. So yes, I will miss the house and its view. And Dusty, his dog, will miss the beachfront of the house because Dusty used to arrive at the house and immediately run out on the beach. But in the end, her new apartment will still be her home, even though she doesn't have this house. We all know the importance of having a roof over our heads, but in the end, the thing that makes a house or an apartment a home is the love that is shared there. I think Jesus understood this, especially with his people and the importance of shelter. His followers were primarily nomads, going from place to place. So having a roof over one's head was very important. It provided security, hope, and a sense of peace. And that is why the phrase in our gospel today is so profound. Make our dwelling with him. Or another translation used to be used that our pastor really liked, make our home with him. Jesus knew that in order to prepare his followers for his eventual death, resurrection, and ascension, he wanted to remind them that they would not be alone. He would be the indwelling presence with them he would be at home in them. He is saying this to us today as well. The presence of Christ is within us. The Eucharist we celebrate today reminds us that this celebration is really about the indwelling Spirit in us. We are called to make our homes the place where the presence of Christ is experienced by all who enter. May we strive to allow room in our hearts and in our homes so that Christ is able to make a home with us.
Yeah, it was interesting that he decided to preach on that.
Yeah. He took that one phrase
Mm-hmm.
and I said, if I'd have had your homily one day earlier, I'd have a perfect song.
Ah. And what were you thinking?
Michael Jonkis just published a new text
Oh.
called A Place Called Home
Oh, gee.
to the Sibelius,
Yep. Okay.
the Finlandia.
Right.
And it's lovely, absolutely lovely. The text is gorgeous, and put with Finlandia is just lovely. And I could have, if I'd have had the homily a day earlier,
Mhm.
I could have rehearsed the choir for it.
Yep. Exactly. Darn.
But, hey,
You know, they got to work with us here.
I'm just happy to get it at all, though, so I'm not really complaining.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying they got to work with us. You know.
Yeah, but I'm just happy to get the homily in advance at all.
Right.
So.
And we've been very thankful that
Yeah.
we've gotten his homily. So
Yeah.
share it, because that doesn't happen all the time.
I know it's
Time
really
with-
helpful. It's really helpful to me, and usually, I can even make a last minute adjustment if I need to, if it's a piece the choir already knows.
Right.
But I just got these pieces. They just got this packet of music, and I haven't had a chance to teach it to the choir yet. So,
Yeah, and see, you know, most of us are taking down the homilies on our phones, and we're trying to transcribe them and
yeah,
say them later on, and it's like
yeah, it's
so
tough.
to have it. I like having it in writing, but not a lot of guys.
No,
Depends. He writes his out. I know other guys who bullet.
yes,
They know that's how I would do it, because for me to write the whole thing out takes a long. I'm a good writer, but
yeah.
it takes me a long time to produce it.
But even with writing things out, he ad libs.
Oh yeah, he had lived
Yeah, he ad libs in the homily.
way.
But
longer
this
than
is
that story.
almost like a bare bones homily.
But
And
that's
then,
good.
You know, things will occur to him
Mm-hmm.
as it goes on, that he will ad lib through it.
And he does.
Yeah,
So we appreciate that. Thank you, Father John.
but I do. Yes.
And so if you've heard any good homilies over the past week or
Yeah.
over the Easter season, we would love for you to share them with us. And again, when we move to the new format, this may take a little bit of a different take,
It just might.
because I'm still wrestling with, should we keep the homily
Yeah.
thing? And
Yeah.
folks, it's my fault. I have not put up a Survey Monkey, but
Yeah.
I haven't had time. I seriously have had a time crunch. You know, as I said in the beginning, May 1st was this actual official start of my new job.
Uh-huh.
And I've been doing it for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, it's like moving and all that. So it's been kind of hard. I'm trying to, it slows down on the 15th, actually, 16th of May.
Yay.
So that should give me finally
Little breathing room.
a little bit of breathing room before we transition out of this format into a break into the new one. So we'd still love to hear from you. So please, mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com is our email address. Facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic is where you can find us in Facebook land. And that's where most people, I think, find us at this point. MondayMorningCatholic.net is the website where everything video, audio goes up there. If I can put links, I do. If I have time, I'd like to see that revamped, only because when we go to new format, it might be helpful.
Mhm.
And of course, you can
But here's my number, so call me maybe.
call us at the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659. The funny part is I get calls on that line and no one leaves a message. So if you're just calling to see if it works, fine. If you're calling and it doesn't work, could you drop us an email and let me know that? Because if something has gone askew with it, I mean, I check it to see if the recording is there, and it is. So if something else has happened to it, please let me know. Then I can play with it. But Greg and Jennifer have a lot more luck with voice feedback. It really makes their podcast hum because you hear from different people.
Yeah.
So that's always been the goal of this podcast, is to get more voices. Because if you don't get more voices, the only two voices you're going to hear are mine and Linda's.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Yes.
You may want to hear more voices.
You just may. Yes.
Just might. So please, 774-955-0659. Use the voice feedback line. Make us happy for the next couple of weeks at least before we go to the new format. All right. So it's their turn anyway. Come on.
The
There it
voice
is.
of the people cannot be denied.
And this week's voice of the people was so predictable. When I put it up, I said, yep, there's the winner, folks. Although I thought it might have got to run for its money, something else, but nah, it didn't. They went where I thought they would go. It was from alatia.org, a little ditty called 5 Reasons to Stay Until the End of Mass.
Yes.
And
Really.
we kind of knew that was going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it just somebody, Jeanette from Indiana said, it's rare for me to dine and dash.
Yes.
I have not heard that phrase before. So I like that.
Yes.
I use other phrases that are not particularly kind.
Kind.
Dine and dash is
Dine and dashes.
much better. But she does say, to leave early is like stepping out of a musical you've waited to see for a year.
Yeah.
You can be first in line for the restaurant down the street. I liked that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, as a liturgist, I have had to leave a liturgy early, but not because I've wanted to.
I can never leave a liturgy early.
No, when you're a musician, you can't.
Never.
That never happens. When you're a liturgist, however, it sometimes happens. And as a catechist, it sometimes
Yeah,
happens because you have to be there in order to, especially when I was in Tiverton, where the church and the hall were one level. So if something was going on and I had to cue them, or I had to get them, because we were going in there, or usually first communion, confirmation, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I left early.
Yeah.
I never liked it, but it was in order for things to move smoothly. I don't think that's the case for Joe and Jane Catholic.
No, you were leaving early because you had a ministry to perform. You
Right.
had a job to do.
Right.
People who leave early, I mean, I can appreciate the fact that most people live harried lives,
Mhm.
running from pillar to post for whatever reasons. My life can get that way sometimes.
Mhm.
But perhaps it's just the nature of what I do or who I am. But Sunday is the Lord's Day.
Right.
And if you're going to get yourself to church, for heaven's sakes, go to church. Don't bide your time until, you get the cookie and then dash out the door. Well, that's the way some people
I know.
look at it,
I know.
It doesn't count unless you get something, and then you got it, so I'm out of here. I do school masses, okay, and
Mhm.
there's one on holy days, there's a mass at our parish that is a parish liturgy, and the school children attend it.
Right.
So it's a different kind of thing. When I do masses with the school, it's one thing. When the school children attend mass at one of the parish masses, it's another thing. And here's all these little ones there behaving themselves, going to church, saying the prayers, and right next to them are people sitting there saying nothing and going to communion and leaving out the side door for everybody to see.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking to myself, what an example you're setting for these young people.
Exactly.
You know what? I don't know, I know everybody occasionally has a reason to have to want to get out.
Right. Emergencies.
I have scheduled back-to-back weddings in different churches.
Yeah.
It's like, let me out of here. But
That's one that I walked out of one.
yeah.
But seriously, this is a true story where I did, and I don't want to slam ethnically anybody, but I did a Spanish.
Yeah.
Now, Latina weddings, they are notorious for being late. Okay. The bride showed up 50 minutes late, and I had to be. Now, this was when I was singing, not playing.
Yeah.
I had to be at my own church for a 5:00 liturgy.
Uh-huh.
This wedding was supposed to be at 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't really start the wedding till 3,
Oh,
and now I've got to be I had to be someplace for 4.
jeez.
So I basically left before communion because I looked at it and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am booked to be at another place. It's my church. I have to be there.
Well, that's, I've been in that situation one time too many.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's my, and I understand that can happen to other people.
It can,
You know?
but not
But
me.
every single week,
It's the same people.
I see who leaves. I'm standing up there watching them going right out the side door,
Right. So
And it's like, you look at them and it's like, you got to be retired. What the heck is your big hurry,
Twin Oaks for the 5:00 special. I mean, that could be it. They're going to Twin Oaks for the 5:00 special.
Yeah. So I just don't understand. It's all right that we do announcements after communion. If you think that's tedious, tough. But
That's really tedious.
yeah, closing prayer. You have a closing prayer. Don't you want a blessing? Like it said in that article.
Yeah.
Don't you want the blessing that you receive after attending mass? Or do you think that's not worth anything?
Apparently, what they have just consumed is worth way more. And see, I'm just using that as a,
Yeah.
But it's a very skewed way of looking at it.
Well, and it's like, again, like it says in the article, it's rude.
It is.
You wouldn't do that to human beings.
Yeah, I like number 3. Math
Yeah.
is not an activity on the to-do list.
Yeah. You wouldn't go in, sit down, eat your chicken and vegetables and say, okay, thanks. This was really great. I got another place to be.
Right.
You just
Right.
wouldn't do that to human beings.
No.
Why would you do that to God?
Exactly. They would think that's the height of rudeness.
Yeah.
But then again, anything today, I just think it's people who have an obligation mentality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not a community mentality. They're not there for the community. They're there because somebody in their early years taught them if they don't go to church every week, they're going to hell.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very honest with this. And the more you perpetuate that, the more you turn out believers, quote unquote,
Yeah.
who believe that they must serve a God who is unbending.
Yeah.
And the only way this God will love them is if they show up,
Yeah.
pray, pay, and obey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have come to find out that is not who our God is. Yes, our God wants us to be there, given us all kinds of please follow all of the following, but we still have free will.
Yes.
And if we turn him down,
Yeah.
then, just because Pope Francis said, who am I to judge? He's right. Who are we to judge? But don't think we won't get judged.
Well, it's not.
That's every single one of us.
It's not a question of judging at this point. It's
No.
a question, I think, of catechizing.
True.
Look at what the Mass means to you. Is it something to check off your list of to-do things?
Absolutely not.
Or is it an opportunity to deepen your relationship with the Lord
Mhm.
and your relationships with one another?
Exactly. It's what it's set up to be.
They have to throw us out of St. Thomas usually. People want to turn off the lights and lock the doors, and everybody's kind of hanging around, visiting with each other.
And it's too bad that St. Thomas's doesn't have a hall next door.
Yeah,
Because it's so easy to go over coffee and donuts, and
sure it is.
downstairs it's not handicap accessible. It's, it's kind of in the wrong place, but that's the kind of community we have, however. So we all stay in the church.
Yeah.
And everybody wants, like, the minister's like, I want to go home.
I want to go home. Yes.
But no, I don't understand this rushing the same people every week type of thing. And it is. My experience has always been, I see the same people walking out.
Yeah.
I can turn around after communion and look and see how many, like this weekend, nobody left the confirmation mass. Why? Because it was confirmation. You couldn't leave until the confirmandi left.
Yes. And they couldn't, and they had to take the kid home, so they couldn't leave without the kid.
They all had to stick around. Whether our regulars left or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it, but but that's unusual. When I go to a regular mass there, and I'm going to use Lakeville. Sorry, Lakeville.
You got to call it like you see it.
I got to be honest with you. I see it all the time. And especially the one that killed me was Christmas Eve.
Oh, gee.
A couple of years ago, where I sat there and watched everybody after communion dump out.
Gee.
I was like, are you kidding me? Now, there are people who will look at me and say, A, you're judging. B, you should be happy they're there at all.
I know, that's the big line.
I'm sorry. That's why our society is the way it is, because we should be happy people are doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But now look, they're also doing A, B, and C, and we don't really approve of that either.
We should.
There are standards, folks.
They're making this, the whole thing of not judging is getting mashed in with catechizing.
I know.
You're not judging. You're trying to form a people. And if nobody tells them that, what's going on at the end of Mass is important, then they're going to leave.
See, and then you got conflicting stuff. True. You don't want your child to put their hand on a stove.
No.
But you can't smack the child either, because then that's child abuse.
Well, you have to, there's some way to
put their hand on a stove.
there's got to be a way to form the child.
Right.
And there's got to be a way to form the community.
Right.
And so if nobody ever says, hey, it's very discouraging to stand up here and watch you all make a beeline out the door.
Nice. Yeah. But then
while Mass is still going on.
Right. But if you say it, then people get offended.
Yeah. Well, they should be.
They should.
They should be offended.
Right. Because we're offended that you're walking out the door.
Yeah. So.
Okay. We're never going to fix that one.
Nope.
But I'm glad somebody brought it to the attention of the group.
Yes.
So, and enough people saw it. So hopefully that might get, spread around a little bit.
Spread around a little bit. Yes.
One of my new duties in my position is to work in social media.
Oh, okay.
So don't think that some of these things may not be creeping into social media.
All right.
Parishes.
Let's
I can't.
do it.
Why not? I hope that does not become an issue.
Let's do it.
I call it as I see it.
Right.
One last thing we have, and it does fall under this category. right stuff. Yes, our friend Rory Cooney, God bless the man, brought out in his blog this week called Gentle Rain, Reign.
Yes.
Okay. And he doesn't want to be a crabby Appleton, but still,
But
he decided to exercise his inner Pelagian and talk about First Communions. Now, it is sacramental season. My first Eucharist, and I keep trying to use that term so that people can get that it's, First Communion, I think, already has enough baggage, the terminology.
yes.
So by changing it to
First Eucharist, yes.
it kind of gives you a sense of this may be your very first Eucharist where you participate fully, and it won't be your last, because that assumes you come to Mass every week. It's a mind, again, forming people. It's a mindset. So he is talking about how these First Communions are, how do I say this? Unless our English wordsmith can come up with a few better.
I think Rory said it as well as he could. That you're trading liturgy for a photo op.
Yep, there you go. Thank you.
You're trading liturgy for a photo op, and it's not that we are preparing the Eucharist for these children.
Mm-hmm.
We are preparing the children to receive the Eucharist.
Exactly.
And those two sentences say it all to me.
Yep.
He had a lot more than two sentences to say.
Yes, he did.
But those two sentences say it all to me. Everything is, the children. And what they're going to wear and how they're going to dress and who's going to read and who's going to, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to get a 7-year-old to understand sacred scripture and proclaim it to the assembly.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I like this line of his. At their core, sacraments are about God's action, not ours.
Yes. It's
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. That's why, and I know it doesn't go over well sometimes in my neck of the woods, that I have taken First Eucharist and put it on a Sunday. Number one. Okay. I put it in the Sunday liturgy. I believe it in the Sunday liturgy because it needs to be something that not only the children, they should be coming to Mass. How best to explain the importance of the Sunday liturgy is if you have your first Eucharist at a Sunday Mass.
Yes.
You have it on Saturday morning. That means it's special.
Yes.
And you don't have to come to Sunday.
Well, what irritates me is that we have regressed.
Oh.
All right. We used to have it. Individual communions at Sunday Mass.
Yeah.
Saturday night. We could have up to 6 at the same liturgy. And then somebody had, because people take advantage of it, we were having First Communions into November. And so,
right.
And so somebody said, why don't we just have First Communion and get it over with? Yeah. And so, of course, at that point, nobody listens to me because I wasn't the DRE. So, so we now have a First Communion
On a Saturday.
I do try to keep it liturgically sound, and I have to admit, over the years, and we've had a First Communion for like 10 years. Over the years, it has gotten better.
Good.
In that the people that come, the mommies and daddies, the aunts and uncles, the grandmas and grandpas, have gotten better in their behavior.
Right.
It's not like a blue light sale at Kmart, which is what it used to look like.
Yep. And I can tell you in Tiverton, it was like that as well.
Oh my Lord.
Yep.
The priest would come out ahead of time and say, please, no photography. What we're doing here is sacred. Blah, blah, blah. And you'd have people sneaking up the aisle, trying to sneak on the priest, you know?
Yep.
Sneaking up the aisle with a camera. And so we still do, and every year it's the same thing, but I think it's starting to sink in with our people.
I think it's because you've been consistent probably in explaining it to them.
Yes.
But
yes.
I have had that type of experience. And my first year, last year in Lakeville, had that experience again. And I just said, no, can we do this on Sunday?
Yeah.
And we have this year 14. So our church is big enough so that each family can have a pew.
Yep.
And it only takes 7 on either side, and we're good. Now, if we go more than 20 kids, which we have 20 next year,
Mm-hmm.
if we go more than that, we have to split it.
Yeah.
But I could still see doing it on Sundays.
Well, I really do wish that we would go back to that.
I'm going to try to keep it on Sunday, and I know that I do have people who disagree with me, and I'm trying to show the benefits of this, because you need the assembly to see this type of stuff too.
Yes.
It renews and reinvigorates them, and it also gets people to understand that sacraments are not just these goalposts that you kick through and then you don't have to do anything else.
You're graduated until we have to come back for confirmation.
Right. You need to do them within the assembly, because coming to Mass on Sunday is the most important thing a Catholic does in their life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you, I am not a DRE.
And I'm not really anymore
and I don't play one on TV. But
there you go.
But I have heard some stories that curl my hair, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Of what people want, what parents want.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some of them are true.
I know they're true because I know the people who are telling them to me.
Yeah, some of them are very true.
So it just really distresses me that no matter, it takes so long to, and I don't keep wanting to use the word catechize, but it takes so long to form people in the awareness of the sacraments.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I know. And it's only by doing, and I know this as a liturgist, and you know this as a liturgist, it's only by continuing to reinforce the symbols, by continuing to be consistent in their application, consistent in the presentation of these rituals.
Yes.
That's the only way you get people to speak. And it takes a generation.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and you're seeing that now 10 years in. It's taking a generation to finally get it.
I never even asked for help singing at First Communion because I thought, I have to be exposed to this.
Right.
I'm not exposing any of the rest of my choir to this.
Right.
Because, you know, I might as well have called it in on my iPhone for all the attention anybody was paying.
Right.
You know? So, but now it's last couple of years, it's been better. So I'm going to try bringing some of the choir in this year.
I'll tell you, you're lucky. Okay. You're lucky that you've been able to, and I think it's credit to your pastor.
Yeah.
And him continuing to hammer things home and insist on certain things. The minute you get a pastor change, it changes again.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, you know, if you establish it on Sundays.
Yes.
And confirmation has been established in Lakeville for a Saturday night Mass, I guess, for a very long time. So people know if they don't want to be there, they don't come.
Yeah.
That's fine. This now is going to be established for Sunday morning. You know, it's one Sunday in May for the time being. It may end up being 2 if we get a big crowd. But people are going to have to learn that because we believe it is most important.
Yeah.
That this be done at a normal community.
Yeah.
Energy.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's
because
it's their initiation into the full life of the community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
No, they're sorry.
And that's your phone and not mine.
Yes.
But it's perfect because that's it for
It
us.
signals the end of
It does signal the end of another Monday morning. Perfect timing. Again, if you want to send us some feedback, especially if you don't agree with us, and I know some people out there don't,
we'll take it.
we'll take it. We've got broad.
Yes, we've got broad shoulders.
Monday Morning Catholic at gmail.com. Facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic is our Facebook page. MondayMorningCatholic.net if you like go to the website, or please call us on the voice feedback line 774-955-0659. I don't know what I'm going to do next week, Linda.
I don't know.
Again,
Let me first of all, let me find out what I'm doing next week.
true.
Not even sure, so
True.
we'll see.
We could still pull this out, maybe.
Yeah, maybe,
Sort of.
maybe. We'll see how the timeline runs.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
And again, if you have any feedback for us as to how we should change things up as we go into our new format, we could appreciate that as well. Because,
Right.
like I
What
said,
would you like to hear?
like I said, you could just hear us talking. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, that would be fun.
All right. Well, again, we ask you to, as Bishop Coyne would always ask, please pray for those Christians being persecuted all over the world, and as well as pray for all of those people running for president and the people who don't like them. This is getting to be a terrible year.
Yes,
for
it
a
is.
presidential election, and we really need some prayers in this country, or this country could be heading down a path that we really don't want to see it end up going down. So please, prayers there as well. And prayers, for all of our newly confirmed, first Eucharist. Is that a word? I don't know. But from Linda Reed and myself, Joanne Mercier, thank you so much for being here again with us this week. And until next time, ciao for now.